Today on Happiest Places Home, I'll show you what to do before you put your house up for sale. I have a list of tips. Some are free, some have a small investment, but all of them have a huge payoff. A little bit of preparation goes a long way when it comes to getting your house on the market. What's more difficult than carrying out these steps to get your house ready is to show your home over and over and over again. Imagine having to clear everything off of your countertops, make sure the dishes are out of the sink, making sure every last piece of laundry is either clean or hidden. Make every bed to perfection. And in the case of this beautiful bathroom, you'd have to squeegee your shower every time. Imagine for a moment the trouble you go to make your house perfect when you're having company. But think of it this way, your company isn't looking inside of all of your closets. When people walk through your home, you'll have either an optimist or a pessimist. The optimist looks at your home just the way it is, and they can picture everything beautiful that they're going to do with it. Whatever they see before them, they can work with. And for every optimist in a family, there's usually a pessimist there to balance them out. Their critical eyes will scour your home, and those are the people that we need to cater to when we're preparing. I'm starting our list with the free things that you can do to spruce your home up. Number 1, remove all of the photos from your home. Put them in boxes and get them out of the sight of the buyers. When my realtor told me this, I thought he was saying it because buyers could be creepy. The actual reason is that buyers will be attracted to these pictures and try to figure out who you are and what you're all about. It's just a natural curiosity that people have. And while they're looking at your adorable family, they're not looking at the house. And they won't remember the home when they walk out and go and see another. They're going to remember your family. Next up, we're taking down all of our pieces of art and decor. Design has such a personal taste involved, and we want to make sure that we get things out of the home that are kind of unusual or unsettling, like these paintings and these sketches. When you're buying a house, you don't want to think of it as a place where unusual or weird people lived. Let's tackle our books now. I did this when I sold my home, and it really helped me when I was moving. I got a lot of packing done beforehand, and really I was doing it to help sell the house because it was recommended to me to do that. There was a house that I saw that I loved, and I did want to move forward and buy it. My husband wasn't on board, and I had a question mark that should I talk him into this? What can I tell him about how I'll help improve it? But one thing was on my mind. The only things in the house were Stephen King books. They took all of their furniture, they took every single thing out of there, except for about 6 books. And it just bothered me. I just couldn't understand why they did that. So we didn't move forward, and that was the reason on my end. Getting those books in boxes is the best thing you can do for yourself. By the way, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart all have very inexpensive boxes. If you can't pack up your books, you can turn them around to be uniformly white. A lot of interior designers do this, and it's a great idea. It creates a blank space on the shelf, and it gives you the ability to show off things that are more important than your books. If the books are really old and they're getting that antique-y, orangey cream color, then it's not as good of a look as the white books, so I would just show the spine in that case. These magazine files from IKEA are really a steal, and they're great for hiding a magazine collection that you know you want to take with you, or documents, spare scraps of paper, and notebooks. It just makes everything look uniform and, again, like we said, a blank space. Cleaning out the pantry can be so cathartic for some people, but I learned something from the mover. He told me that actually they can't move liquids. That eliminates a lot of things from your pantry. So you have to eat that stuff up, I guess. But also, if you put your things in storage, they can't store food, and that's because of mice and pests. So you're going to get rid of those things anyway. Better to do it now so that your pantry doesn't look so cluttered. If there's old furniture that you really don't want to have at your next place, then it's a great idea to get rid of it now. Obviously, you'll need a bed to sleep on, but if you're replacing those things, what about having brand new furniture in your house as a showplace? And if you're not planning on buying new furniture, you might be inspired to do it by looking at Wayfair and Homery, so many websites, because they have fantastic deals on dining sets, really everything. I showed you some discount prices here. So buyers, I think, would be more attracted to something fresh and new and smaller. We have to think small furniture is better because it makes your space look bigger. The basement was such a tough one to tackle for me. My realtor gave me the advice to move everything in the basement out to the side so that people can walk through and feel how big it is. You also don't want them to think, how are they going to get rid of all of these things, as if they'd never really be able to get in there. I had some great advice from a mover. He told me that there are so many things that people move that actually cost more to move than what they're worth. And it's a good idea to take inventory of that. Old exercise bikes, old treadmills, in some cases just inexpensive furniture and shelves, or say a big bedroom set or an armoire that you do plan to get rid of sometime. So just take a look at that and it might save you some money. Beyond that, purging larger items gets you so much closer to creating the blank canvas that buyers are really looking for. Next on our list is clearing out the closets. My husband has more shoes than Imelda Marcos, so it was difficult for us both to get rid of some of our clothes. We put them on Poshmark, but to be honest, it takes a really long time to do all of that, and it's so much easier to just donate things that you know that you're not going to wear later. There's such an easy solution for windows. If you take a look at this room, they've emptied everything. It does look neutral. They're really in a good position, but something draws your eye, and it's the drapes. I don't think they needed to leave them up. I had really beautiful silk drapes in my home, but it wasn't showing well, and when I took them down, it was a game changer. The next showing that we had, those were the people who decided to make an offer on our house. Buyers just love a light-filled room, so let them have it. Kids' rooms can take a buyer out of their zone. Let's take a look. So here I captured pictures of kids' rooms that I thought were so beautifully decorated in catalogs. I did that so I didn't spend time insulting a room that actually exists for a kid, because that seems very rude. But I also did it because if these are done so beautifully, it still takes the buyer's attention away. They're thinking, oh, this child does this sport, or, oh, aren't these toys adorable? I wonder how old this kid is. We've been through this when we talked about pictures, but it's just one of those things that if you can clear their room out and make it have less personality, then the buyer can actually picture their own family in it better. It's not your home anymore. They're thinking of it as theirs. Meanwhile, it's the exact opposite when it comes to new construction model homes. In that case, it is good to make the house a little less sterile. Here are some tips for your kitchen and dining area. I captured these images of kitchens from actual real estate listings. So, in speaking of kitchens, it's one of the areas of the home that affects a buying decision the most. We all know it's incredibly expensive to replace cabinetry and countertops. And most people don't right before they move. It would be smarter to do it years earlier so that you could enjoy it, right? There are a couple of inexpensive things we can do to make the cabinets look more updated, and that is to buy new hardware for them. I think that these really start to look more brand new. The other thing you can do is to replace the faucet. These high arc faucets are extremely popular right now, and just by buying one of those, I think it's less than $200. I think I also saw one really inexpensive at IKEA. If you can find a plumber that can switch that out and it's not very expensive, it will have a huge impact. If you're a fan of home improvement shows and videos, I'm sure you already know about peel and stick wall tiles, but those can have a huge impact too. This kitchen I think is really pretty. I wouldn't want it for myself, but I do think it was done really well. But here's the problem. If you're like me, what you're noticing first are the track lighting up with the baskets over the island. It's really cool looking, right? But you're looking at that and then of course the peace sign. Now, here's what we're missing. Beautiful stone walls, a beautiful brick fireplace, and then a nice high arc piece of plumbing. It has so many great features that you're not seeing because it's still cluttered with this person's personal taste. I used this photo right off of Realtor to show an example of a dining room done well. So it has empty space on the table, it has neutral furnishings, neutral drapes, and they're wide open, showing all of that natural light. And here's an example of what we don't want to do. This already stuffed dining room full of furniture and the old furniture in the neighboring room, it's enough to look at. On top of that, the seller set the table with, I'm sure, place settings they were proud of and candles and candle holders they were proud of. But it's such a personal taste and it's a little dated, unfortunately. So this was doing them no favors. It really is best to just clear the surfaces and get rid of as much furniture in your dining room as possible. Here's some ideas on how to get rid of all of these things that we're disposing of and recycling them. So if you have a used furniture store nearby, give them a call and invite them over to take a look at all of the things you're thinking of getting rid of and ask them for a price. When the owner of the used furniture store that we called came to my house, he suggested that using Craigslist would be much more lucrative for us. We only received $500 to remove almost all of the furniture from our home. Alternatively, they've had people pay them to do a clear out, and that brings us to the topic of junk removal. That's another thing that you can do. Unfortunately, those things are probably going to a dump, although I got to know someone who did this at our home, and the woman did take things and keep them and try to repurpose them the best she could. Bathrooms are next on the list. You'd be amazed at how many real estate listings have blue or mauve pink tiles and sinks. Bathrooms that have old fixtures can be a turnoff to people, and switching those out, just like we mentioned about the kitchen, could really make a difference. I don't know if it would make a difference, though, if there's a blue or mauve pink sink, but I have some good news for you if you have mauve. I did notice that Hilary Duff did a makeover on a bathroom in her home, and she chose the mauve tile. I don't know if it was a nod to the past or she's so young she didn't realize that that's an old trend, but maybe it's coming back. Cutting the clutter can be really important too. If you take a look at this bathroom, it has some nice features, but it has so many things in it that there's no way to really make it look sleek and modern. I think the floor is a little dated, but it would have looked a lot better if it was empty. Also, a white shower curtain can really freshen things up in the bathroom. Here's a really inexpensive one on Amazon. New lighting fixtures can really capture a buyer's attention. If you change up your lighting right before you put your house up for sale, it can make you thousands and thousands of dollars. The wicker lighting trend is still alive and kicking, and you can get these pieces, pendant lamps or chandeliers at IKEA for such a low price. Meanwhile, they're still in stock at some of the hottest trending decor shops. Replacing older flush mounts with these really cool looking lights from West Elm could also make you a lot of money back on your investment. There are a few different shade colors and finishes to choose from, and I think any of them would be a great combination. I also selected 2 other light fixtures that are best sellers so that you know you're going down the right path and choosing them. This drum shade model is the most affordable of the 3, and I think it looks great in either color. Now I wanted to show you the Trace chandelier as an example of one of the hottest trending chandelier styles out there. And the dark bronze, which looks black, is probably the best, most modern option. I love it. And if you're out there looking for a chandelier for your new home too, this is the one to get. To paint or not to paint? That is the question that only you can answer. A lot of buyers walking through your home have zero imagination. They see a color on the wall and they can't picture it being different than that. If there's wallpaper, to them they think, oh my gosh, that's going to be so difficult to bring down. And they just can't picture the room another way. The best way to combat this is to get neutral paint on those walls. White paint is the most ideal. A light gray or a very light beige also works, but I'd love it if you would see my video on choosing the best white paint color. This is a good time to say, it's not you, it's them. You have your own personal taste. You may love bright and vibrant colors, or you might like unusual art. Good for you. It's just we're catering to people, like I said, with no imagination, so you can't take it personally. You just have to do what a realtor that saw my home said, this home needs to be neutralized. I've never heard anyone describe a home like that before, but what they were saying was true, and it annoyed me, but I've learned so much from the experience. That is the reason I made this video. Here are some examples of rooms that would show better. They're just more light and airy, and a lot of it has to do with the wall color. We're coming really close to the finish line, so let's talk about floors. These markers are very helpful in fixing scratches and nicks in hardwood floors, and they have multiple colors to match. If you have lumps in your carpet, there are professional carpet stretchers. You really can just call a carpet installer and talk to them about coming over to do just that, not replace the carpet. And it only cost me $250 to stretch the carpet in 3 rooms. And this person had to move furniture too. So I thought that was a bargain. Updating door handles refreshes the look of an older home. Here's an example of an antique door. It had an older knob on it that was crystal. Just switching it out with the stainless steel lever, I think it does so much for this. You'll want to have your yard ready if your realtor plans to do aerial shots, like this one. And now, we've made it to the bottom of the list, but I want to share a few secrets that you can take care of on the day that you're showing your home. This will really get it buyer ready. All right, first, we have to open the drapes all the way, put the blinds all the way to the top, and that's if we left drapes or blinds on the windows. Buyers want that natural light. They say it out loud every time they go to see a home. And you know what's funny? As soon as they get into a new home, they cover up all the windows with drapery and blinds anyway. And just like in a model home, we'll turn on all of our lights, every single one. The ones that are inside the kitchen cabinets or things that are showing off items on your shelves, just all the ambient light and the normal lights, we have to turn them on. If you have a gas fireplace, I would light it. It'll make your home look so cozy and inviting, unless it's the middle of summer, of course. People, when they move into a house, they don't want to think of it as a place where there were a lot of animals. It's just a fact. So it's a good idea to get rid of all of your dog's bowls and toys. Just get them out of sight. And I think this goes without saying, but, we have to get our animals out of the house if possible. So this is an odd picture where people left their dogs in the house, and they were a little bit scary to me. If you have pet odors in your house, this product Carpet Fresh is fantastic. So you spray it on the carpet and it's a foam that dissipates on its own. And you just spray it really quickly before you go out and it works so well. Okay, next up is a hand vac. It is a lifesaver. It helped me so much. You know how a little dust settles right around the bottom of chairs? I was using it that way constantly. But also, it's really great for the bathroom and just all the little corners so that your house really looks perfect. Another trick that we think we came up with on our own, but we're not sure if it was just our idea, but we would heat Pop-Tarts in the microwave for about 10 to 20 seconds, and then we would put them on a plate on top of the refrigerator where you couldn't see them, and it would always smell like we freshly baked something that day. I realize how stressful selling your home can be, so I hope this video helped you in some way. I wish you all the best in your real estate journey, and I want to thank you for watching Happiest Places Home. If you did enjoy the content here, please like, share, and subscribe.